Well, hello there. Welcome. This is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks. And I'm going to talk today about how to deal with a guilty conscience. On our show last Wednesday, I asked you whether or not you had a guilty conscience. Well, we couldn't even begin to complete that show. So today I'm going to talk about solutions, how to deal with a guilty conscience. But before I get into that, here's sweet baby James, who is going to introduce our show.
So, welcome to Granny Rocks Our World once again, otherwise known as Grow, where we all hope to grow from these sharings. And in fact, we do. Every Monday and Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, same time, same station. Well,
that was a cry,
wild.
Yes. Okay.
It's one of our pets.
One of our pets, yes. Screeching because we abuse them. Now we have a guilty conscience. Okay. So
there we are. Take it away, Granny.
Okay. So on our show last Wednesday, I went into the many ways that we hurt people, others. We also hurt ourselves a lot, by the way. And, I talked about, we could be stealing from people. We could be putting them down. We could be hurting people emotionally or physically. There's so many ways that we can hurt people. And we looked at it and how difficult it is to admit that. It's a very painful topic. But today I want to talk more about why we don't want to admit our hurtful behaviors and what to do about it and how we can turn this all into a victory.
Yay, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, okay. So, the first thing that I did talk about last time is that we have to admit it to ourselves. If we don't admit to ourselves that we are hurting other people, then we'll never do anything about it, will we? We'll just rationalize and
minimize, justify.
Is anybody hearing us? Something is wrong, James. I don't see anything. I don't see
we've been
anybody.
on for a couple of minutes.
Right.
There's no sign of life at the other end.
Well, whoever is there, could you just, Erica joined. Erica, can you hear us? Please let us know, because we haven't had too much action here in the beginning. We usually do. So I want to make sure that people are hearing us and that this thing is plugged in right.
Yeah, can you hear? Oh,
I hear you. Oh, very good.
Great.
Thank you, Erica. All right. So the first thing that we talked about was that we don't want to feel shame or fear, which is what we are probably going to feel if we admit to hurtful behavior. So we're just going to pretend that we didn't do it. So, hi, Kate. Kate said, hi, Granny. Hi, SBJ.
Oh, hello. And Erica had a comment.
She said, yes.
Oh, ho, ho.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Me too.
Okay. So now, why would we feel shame or fear when we admit that we did something wrong?
Fear of consequences.
Well, but no, where did that come from? See, let's look at childhood to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. Were we shamed?
Oh, yes.
As children? Like, oh, bad boy. It's like you say to the dog, like, bad doggy, right? Bad.
Yeah, we did shaming, we did blaming, and we did naming.
Right. So it's like bad boy, bad girl, whatever, And so there's a lot of shame that we grow up with immediately, and we're afraid to feel that again because shame is a terrifying experience. It makes us feel like, oh, we're not going to be loved anymore. No one's going to take care of us. That's a whole other story. Now, are we afraid we're going to be punished?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of us as children were punished. It could have been physical punishment, being beaten. It could be emotional punishment, like it could be verbal abuse. You stupid, one of our parents might have been alcoholic or addicted or somehow like out of control of themselves, being mean-spirited. So, we may have been punished. And we're afraid of, as a result of that, if it started as children, we have that inside of us. Are we afraid that if we admit that we did something wrong, that the person who we wronged is going to use it against us? Todd said, hi, Beth and James. Hi, Todd. I
Hi.
see the crew is getting here. It's wonderful. It was a little quiet in the beginning. Nobody was there, and thank God Erica joined, and we thought we didn't have volume, but we did, and so we're back. So it's all good. So, so that we may have actually been punished as children. So if you guys, parents, if you want your children to be willing to admit they're wrong, you can't shame them and you can't punish them, because that's exactly what causes them to deny that they did it.
Right. So true.
Now, you might say, well, then how are you going to control your children, right?
Mm.
Well, that's a whole other conversation, which is about helping your children to see the impact of what they're doing and try to appeal to their humanity, which they have. And, they can feel bad or guilty for a moment, but we don't want to lay it on so that they become terrified of admitting anything, And if people use things against us, then we're not going to want them to know that we did it. It's like, oh my God, if she ever found out what I did, right? Oh, Jay says, good morning, grandmother and Pa, love you. We love you too. It's morning
India.
in India. So, and Larvi, hello, dear. Hello, Larvi. Also on the other side of the world. So good to see you guys. So let's say we're afraid that we are going to be hurt or damaged by admitting the truth about what we've done. So why isn't this working?
Because we don't have it at full screen.
Okay, no. So we had it over too far.
Ooh.
All right. we have an image.
He's playing a musical instrument.
Oh, Grandpa. That's us. So Erica said, didn't witness the way through painful experiences with amends. Things were just supposed to fade away. You're so right. Even if you acknowledge it, you just say, sorry that I ran you over with my car this afternoon. That's okay. So we'll get to, I don't even think we're going to get to amends today. That may be the last show of the series. I don't know yet.
But that was a profound point. There is a way through those painful experiences.
There is a way through the painful experiences. There really is. But for instance, are we afraid of losing face, losing status, losing money? Let's say you are a public figure and it is discovered that you have been having an affair or engaged in sexual, activities that were painful or hurtful. So that you're going to be shamed by the community. You're probably going to lose your job unless you're the president. And, there's a lot of punishment. And it's not like everybody jumps around you and says, oh my God, you must have been in so much pain if you did this. What a terrible thing. It's like, you're a bad person. So there's denial and denial. You wonder why people go into denial. So there's a real fear around admitting to a sex crime. If we were not shamed as children, did we see one of our parents shamed by the other one?
Oh yeah, lots of times.
Right, you don't make enough money, or you're not spending enough time with the children, and you're destroying them, or the reason that Johnny is stealing is because of you, because blah, 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 right? So we could see other people shamed or punished. We may have seen our siblings shamed or punished. Karen says, hi, you two, and there's hearts and a flower. Hello, Karen, so glad to see you. Yes. And Jay sent us all kinds of hearts. Thank you. So we may have seen a sibling punished. I mean, my God, a lot of times in a lot of families, you're growing up and you see your older sister or your older brother being beaten for something that they may not have even done.
Spanked is enough.
Spanked is enough. And that's bad. It's all kind of bad.
Or yelled at is enough.
Right, to be traumatized. So why are we going to step forward and tell the truth? We're not. I have a solution to this. Don't worry. So then there's another issue here. If I admit that I have done wrong, even to myself, then I may have to change.
Oh.
And can I change? And do I want to change? See, so that's another reason that we don't want to admit it when we've done something wrong. So I'm even saying that um, this is admitting it even to ourselves. And a lot of times we're afraid to change because we're afraid we're going to lose something, that we think we have. Jay is sending us a hi cartoon. And okay, so is there a solution? Yes, there is. And by the way, it's not enough. It's a first step to admit to ourselves that we've hurt somebody. But then we need to admit it to someone else. And hopefully we admit it to them, the person we've hurt, and then we get to make amends to them and sort that out. And we can do that. But first, I need to talk about this. This is really important. There's an entirely different way of looking at hurting people that will change everything if we just adopt it.
Well, I'm all ears.
Good. The whole concept of I hurt you and I don't want to admit it is based on the egoic view of the world. I am I, you are you, I hurt you, I feel guilty, and then I get angry at you for making me hurt you, or I rationalize it, and you try to tell me that I hurt you, but you don't want to believe it, and it's all ego, right? Because we're separate and apart, and we're not connected. Well, supposing we got out of the egoic way of looking at the world and realized that we are one, that we're all connected. So then if I hurt you and you are connected to me, then I'm going to feel bad too. So, let's say, I bet all of us have had that experience at some time in our lives. Let's say you hurt a child that you feel was defenseless against your rage. Don't you feel crappy inside?
Yeah.
And yet we put up these walls against these feelings over time because we don't want to face how much. And by the way, I'm not just talking about personal. Social, I talked about this last time, that our societies, different races, different classes, different genders, different religions, different nationalities, different towns, different teams hurting each other. It's been acceptable that we do that. Our societies tell us that, well, it's okay to treat black people this way, or it's okay to treat white people this way, or it's okay to treat disabled people this way. Well, it isn't. And we feel it in our guts, but we don't want to admit it because, oh my God, what would we have to go through? But in fact, we actually feel when we hurt somebody else, and we are hurting ourselves in the process of doing it. So if I admit that I am hurting you out of fear, out of anger, out of a desire to dominate, out of all of these negative emotions, if you come and you tell me that I've hurt you and you make me aware, then you are helping me to see that I am being dominated by my fear, by my negativity, by my anger. And if I can see you as an ally,
Yeah.
then I don't have to be afraid of admitting that I did something wrong. I mean, does this sound crazy to you? We need to join forces when we've hurt somebody. We need to join forces with them to fight the part of us that is separating us from our real selves, our loving selves. If I'm very competitive and I don't care who I hurt in order to get a job or get ahead or make money or get to the front of the line or whatever, I am cutting myself off from my inner self. And if somebody points that out to me and says, how can I help you not do that anymore,
Yeah, there you go.
then all of a sudden my enemy, who's the person that I hurt, because I'm too embarrassed to admit that I hurt them, so I have to make them into the enemy, becomes my ally. And together we can combat those aspects of our consciousness that are so destructive to us and everyone. And if that's true for us as individuals, it's equally true for us as societies, whether it's racism or prejudice of any kind, war to dominate other people or to grab resources, the fear of other people's anger against us, social issues, these all have huge consequences. How difficult is it for us to admit that we have done these things? So many of us have enslaved. I'm going to look at slaves and say, oh my God, look at the legacy of slavery. And then people say, oh yeah, oh no, yeah, but now we're afraid that the former slaves are going to ask for reparations, right? They're going to ask for money, and we can't do that. So we can't even get real with ourselves. We have to feel our oneness with those that we have damaged. We have to be willing to see the impact on ourselves as well as on the other person.
Because you'll feel their pain anyway at an unconscious level.
That's right.
So you might as well connect with it and get through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we need to join forces to end the domination of fear, anger, or any other form of ego that is causing us to be hurtful, that is causing us to be drinking or to be using drugs or to be angry. It's like, I need help, or to be a sex addict, or to be, if I come to you, if I have been unfaithful sexually and I come to you and I say, I want to tell you that I have been unfaithful, and you immediately say, you're out of the house, am I going to tell you? But if I have a chance to say this to you and you say to me, what is happening to you that has made you do that? Is it something in you? Is it something in our relationship that has caused all this pain to come out as infidelity? Then we turn this whole thing around and we become allies in the fight for oneness, forgiveness, and healing. I'm getting some shout outs from Jay. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jerry.
Now, next time, I want to do the final show in this series about our guilty conscience, about making amends. And I would like you, I think that I asked you last time to think about how you may have hurt somebody that you may not have wanted to admit. And I hope that you've been thinking about that and that you're getting up your courage to talk about it, to admit it to yourself, to see why you're afraid to admit it to yourself, to admit it to others, and to get ready to admit it to the person you hurt so that you can join forces. Now, is it possible that the person you hurt is going to be nasty, is going to be uncompassionate? You bet it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we cannot allow our moral compass to be determined by the lack of depth and feeling of another. Then they are hurting us just as we have hurt them. And there's nothing that we can do about it, but we can certainly try, because when you go sincerely towards someone and make amends, it does melt the heart.
And if you go there with an attitude of understanding, like they get rageful, they get angry, they lash out, you understand why.
Yes.
And you're being understanding and compassionate.
That's a very good point. Yes, we have to understand the pain they're in. I mean, they are not perfectly well people either. If we had a perfectly well world, we wouldn't be where we are. And so I would like you to be thinking about your next step here, about what have you been afraid of, and can you see this as being an opportunity for you to get help with whatever is driving this negative behavior. And always ask yourself the question, why? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? What pain within me, what experience from my life led me to do this? So next time we make amends, and I want to remind you that next time is Wednesday.
Just 2 days from now.
2 days from now. And I want to tell you about something. So Wednesdays, we also do growth, where you get to have a video conference with me and Sweet Baby James and a couple of others. And we talk about these topics, and I help you with my intuition. I help us to really answer some of these questions and see how they relate to us. Plus, there's a fee for that program, but the first one is free. But we have an ongoing free support group, which is based on a book that I wrote, which is also free on the internet. It's called Living with Reality. And if you go to my page, bethgreen.org, you can download Living with Reality. It's a big, big book, and it's a self-help kind of book.
Yes.
And there's a discussion group every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Pacific time. So I don't know what time that would be for you in
as
the
a
world.
video conference.
And I have put there's a guy, Richard, who is one of the co-leaders, and his email address is sitting in this post. So please look at the post. In a minute, it's going to be the post. There's nothing in a post now, but in 5 or 10 minutes, there will be a post, and it will have his email address. So you can be in a free discussion group with people who care, who want to grow, who want to learn together. And they would welcome you. They love it when new people come. You do have to, unfortunately, speak some English, right, in order to manage. And it is all on the internet.
Yep.
And Thursday night, we broadcast Dreams of Peace, the live piano improvisational music. So I think that, do you want to share anything before we go, James?
I just want to share that if you can join that discussion group on the Saturday morning, and if you don't have a lot of time to read, just read that first introductory section on ego, instinct, and evolution, and it will be a big opening for you to realize the kind of strategies your ego's been running in your life. And then you can start getting freed up from those strategies and
and
become
then you
more yourself.
Can join the group. It's a great group. I know it sounds like bragging, but it's a really good book. I mean, it really goes into the depth of us. And people who have used this as the foundation of changing their consciousness have found it very helpful, especially if you do it with a group.
And by the way, the subtitle after Living with Reality is Who We Are, What We Can Be,
what we could be,
and how we get there. So it's a manual for personal growth.
It is a manual. It's got steps and questions and all of that. So check it out, Living with Reality, at www.bethgreen, that's BETHGREEN.org. Well, I better shut up. Is there anything else that you want to say about this topic before we go, Sweet Baby James? I have a feeling there's something.
You want to give me a hint? That's what.
Well, how do you feel about what I said tonight?
Oh, it's quite a revelation. I mean, because so much of how I have hurt people is unconsciously. I just was insensitive, unaware, and being with somebody as sensitive as you have helped me become aware of so much, and to be able to get through it with a minimum of shame and temporary, and with the amends process as well, to be able to get through the other side and restore the positive flow between us.
Right, but I think the point is that you have never seen the person who brings out your hurtful behavior as being your friend.
Oh, that is so true.
Right.
I learned to see that person as my enemy.
That's right. And
because that was a person who was criticizing, was attacking, was angry at me, that sort of thing. And so this is a revelation. To see this person as me, as an ally, is going to help me get through this pattern that I have, that I don't want to keep doing it.
To grow on the inside.
Yep, there it is.
Okay, thank you all for coming and for sharing. Please share this video and like it and love it, and come back again soon.
Okay, bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.